This is like a throne. I'm not sure if I deserve this. Sort of like. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Morro Bay, or probably maybe you live in the area. And thank you both for organizing it. It's absolutely great. When I arrived here in the evening, and then the next morning I look through my window and I see this rock, and I go like, "Whoa, this looks great!" So nice. So yes, tonight we're going to talk a little bit about Reiki. I have no idea; it's all new to me too, so that's great. So I'm teaching this weekend here a Shimpen Reiki 3 class. And maybe a little bit, I'm originally from the Netherlands, but I lived in Australia for almost 20 years. I had a Reiki center there, a retreat center. I also lived in India for 2 years, where I learned the system of Reiki there, but it was really not so good. I had an English teacher who was smoking pot while he was teaching. And then after the classes, I had some questions, and he goes like, "I know nothing, bye." And I go like, "Did I just pay all this money for nothing?" But then we actually had a Reiki center in Darjeeling in India, where the Darjeeling tea comes from. And we did actually mainly volunteer hands-on healing sessions on the local community in the tea plantations. And for me, there was such a great practice in a way, because I had no idea. I was just doing something. And I remember people going, "Oh, wow, I could feel this and this." And I go like, "I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm like a plank. I just do this." But in the local area in Darjeeling, there's lots of healers, Tibetans, Hindu, Nepali, you name it. And I met this young guy. He was 21, I think, at that time. And he was a Tibetan tulku, like a reincarnated Lama. And we kind of became friends. He was in the same little hostel. And one day he said, "What is Reiki?" And I go like, "Yeah, you do a bit of hands-on healing like this." And he goes, "Oh, like this." And he puts his hands towards me. And I go like, And my hair stood on end. I saw the light. And I go, "I want what he has." And it turned out he just come out of a retreat. 3-year retreat in a cave with his teacher. So his mind and energy was just so unbelievable. And then when I spoke to all these healers around Darjeeling, they all had one thing in common, and that was really their own meditation practice. When I learned the system of Reiki, it was just some hands-on healing, and you throw a symbol in the air and it's about it. And but when I observed those healers around Darjeeling, I mean, their way of healing was just unbelievable. Like, they would touch you and you could feel energy going through your body, or the state of mind was so expanded and spacious. So I wanted to know how it was taught in Japan traditionally. So in 2001, I first went to Japan. What was great, started to study with Japanese teachers over the years. And then in 2012, I started to train with a Japanese priest. He is the guy who introduced me to him. He said, "Frans, he's very eccentric." He is, and in a little temple, you start at 4 in the morning till about midnight. And at midnight, he then decides to go to the onsen, these beautiful hot springs in Japan. And then you sleep about 2-3 hours, and then you do this for 10 days. And I remember one of the first times he sent me to my room. "Okay, now go, Frans, go and practice this in your room. And when they ring the bell, you show me like." So I went to the room. "Frans, he's not your dad. He's not your dad. Relax." And then they do these things. So I went to my room, and then he rings the bell, and I go, "I haven't even practiced yet." And then you go there and said, "Okay, tell me what you practice." And I go, "Nothing yet, because you're." So they do all of these really interesting things to test you if you get angry or frustrated or worried. I was vegetarian at that time for 20 years. And I also didn't drink, no alcohol, no coffee. And so I'd written to him that this was the case. At France, no problem, in a monastery, we have vegetarian meals. Indeed, the first 2 evenings, vegetarian meals. And then the third night, we get raw fish. with coffee. And so I got like, okay, whatever. And then afterwards, he gave a teaching on why he did it. Did I get angry? Was I actually grateful that there was food at all? Etc., etc. So yeah, that's been quite interesting since 2012, and I learn a lot. It's not that I go, wait, let me go to Japan, because like, I'd rather go there on holiday, to be honest. But when I get back and a few months later, I go like, wow, I'm actually really grateful that I went there and did these teachings. So what is very interesting, because normally when we think about Reiki, most people think it's about hands-on healing. But traditionally, actually, it was a practice to remember your own inner great bright light. And so the word Reiki in the olden days was called kami, or Buddha nature. And kami in Japanese, it means like your inner divine being. Buddha nature is exactly the same, but we can also call it God essence, or your great bright light, or whatever word we use for that. And the way they did it was you used very specific meditations, you used very specific precepts, like for example, do not anger, do not worry, be grateful, be true to your way and your being, and show compassion to yourself and others. Then you had hands-on healing, of course, on yourself and other people. Then also you had very specific mantras and symbols. And these were seen as like keys to unlock that hidden potential, what we all already have. And then you had something what we now call an attunement, or in Japanese tradition it was called reiju. And reiju is like seen as a spiritual blessing. And by applying these 5 elements, hopefully over time we start to see what is hidden inside of yourself, your inner great bright light, your inner luminosity. And I see it a bit like this. Look at this beautiful weather behind me. It's great. But this morning it was super misty. I couldn't even see the rock. I thought I had dreamt it up. I was like, there was a rock here, right? Am I still sleeping? But then later on the rock appeared again. So this is the same for our great bright light. We cover it up with so much shit, right? Anxiety, worry, fear, stress, you name it. Relationships, all sorts of things. So I was just thinking because, anyway, yes. These things we have in daily life. My mom is not so good. She is unfortunately passing away in the next week or something. So these things happen in life, right? And it's actually really beautiful because I briefly spoke to her yesterday morning, and she is sedated with morphine and stuff. And she is still, my mom has been always a great example of not taking things personally and seeing this light in other people, in herself. And even as she was sedated, she said, Frans, now when you're teaching, make sure, that you focus on the people. Don't think about me because, they come for you. And I go, Mom, it's okay, But, and that's so beautiful. So my mom has always been a great example. So when this mist appears in front of this rock, we don't see the rock. And often we have mist, or I see it sometimes as lampshades in front of this inner great bright light. And we don't see it. And what is interesting, we have lots of different practices where we can peel away these lampshades, right? And that is great, don't get me wrong. But there's also another way of looking at it, and it's looking straight away at what is already there, this great bright light. Because when we switch off the light, we can see it here in the room, if we open these things, what happens to the shadows? It disappears all by itself. At that moment, we actually don't have to do anything with these shadows. All we have to do is recognize our inner potential, what is in essence already here. So it's not something we acquire in 10 years' time. It's something what we already have. And within the system of Reiki, within the precepts, for example, we see just for today, or sometimes today. It doesn't say in 10 years' time. It also doesn't say on the massage table or when we sit in meditation. But today is that we can bring this light in all we do today. And what is really interesting, because I cannot do hands-on healing in everybody. I tried it today. I almost got arrested. Because when I walk in Morro Bay and I go like, oh, everybody hands-on healing, and I go like this, it's not working, right? But we can walk around in this great light, right? This great bright light of your true nature, of your essence. And then what is that? That is a life without anger, without worry, being grateful, being true to your way and your being, and being kind. And ultimately, when we look at the spiritual practice, sometimes we think we have to see colors or feel energy. I always say that's quite easy, because don't do this at home. Stick your finger in the PowerPoint and you feel great energy. Or if you want to see color, you hit yourself with a little stick on your head. But to actually lead a life without anger, without worry, being grateful, being true to your way and your being, and showing compassion is quite tricky, right? As we all know, because things happen in our life. Work, relationship, issues, kids, they have kids. Oh, I hear it all a lot. I see those videos of her on Instagram. No, my kids! It's daily life, right? So for me, a spiritual practice is not separate as a daily life. It's actually your daily life. And when we realize that, then we can take that light more and more into our daily life. And it's a light we already have. But as I said, most of the time we don't see it. So it's kind of shifting our perception. Instead of constantly looking at the clouds obscuring the sun, we actually, okay, these clouds exist. I have a pain, my mom is passing away, whatever. But at the same time, that light is also there. But if I focus on the clouds, what happens? You can't see. And you can also not think clearly, because where is this light? So the more we focus on something, what happens? It grows. So the more we focus on these clouds, the more it also starts to grow. And yet at the same time, the sun is also there. Even last night and this morning, when the rock just disappeared for a while, no one had switched off the sun. The sun was still shining, even in the darkness of the night. Even when we feel very dark in our own mind, body, and energy, the sun is still there. But it depends what we focus on. And so the more we focus on, here is my inner light right now already. And this, of course, we can see these kind of teachings we can see in many traditions. Like, for example, even in Christianity, you hear this, heaven on earth. It doesn't say heaven in heaven. It says heaven on earth, what means right now, right? In the painful misery of life, there is already heaven. But most of the time, we don't see it. I was in London the other day, and I went to this Tibetan teacher. I like to see what other people do. I still need to learn myself. I know nothing. But he was talking about kindness, and he said, imagine that every single person in the world today starts to be kind to each other. He said, we have world peace this instant. It's not that difficult. And if you think about it, then we have heaven on earth, right? Also, when we think about healing, we cannot heal from dying. Like if I think of my mom, we cannot heal ourselves from old age. We all will grow old. We all will pass away. But then the teaching is, how do we grow old? Or how do we pass away? Do we pass away and grow old with anger or with worry or not being grateful? We have lots of regrets. We're not being true to our way in our being, and we become grumpy old men. Well, for me. Right? Or can we embrace this lightness? Like my mom. My mom had lots of things happening. She's the last in her family. All the brothers have died. All the sisters have died. Some quite early on in her life. So she's the last one of the whole family. And yet she's always so bright. And sometimes, of course, she does cry. She feels sad. But the next moment, she realized, here's this luminosity again. And she doesn't talk that way. She's definitely not a Reiki person. She never really asked for hands-on healing. But what she does see is that brightness, right? And this is so beautiful. So the system of Reiki is really rediscovering this brightness. Sometimes it's also seen as space, so feeling spacious. So if I feel spacious, what happens to my physical body? More open, right? Yeah, more open. So less tension. And what happens then to my energy? Does it flow more or less? More, right? So therefore, hands-on healing is in reality a byproduct of remembering your inner spaciousness or your inner great bright light. So in a way, there's lots of yoga here, and I think maybe some of you practice yoga. You are wearing Lululemon. No, just kidding. But yoga is in reality the same. When we look at these postures, it's all about opening, right? And again, also within yoga, we cannot do asanas the whole day, right? Impossible. But a true yogi or yogini takes it off the mat into their daily life. So this is exactly the same as Reiki. And when we practice yoga or Tai Chi or Qigong, we also start to feel this movement of energy. And then what is naturally happening? Who's got kids? Yeah. So when they fall over, what do? You use your hands, right? You maybe rub it or, oh, is it okay? If you fall over, you do exactly the same thing. So for me, hands-on healing is a natural element of who we are. But of course, if we do hands-on healing from this space of these lampshades, and we feel like this because of our own worry, anger, fear, and anxiety, we feel, here is my inner luminosity, my inner spaciousness, and we do hands-on healing from that. It's quite different, right? I might give you an example. This lovely lady, grab me a chair. Come and sit down for a second. We use a PowerPoint. Maybe I should stand in here. Can you feel it? It's great. So for hands-on healing to be really beneficial, first of all, to receive something, what do we have? It needs to be? Open. Open. Thank you. Someone is paying attention. It needs to be open, like a cup. There were some teacups there to put it in. It needs to be open. So she's going to be open. Then I need to be open, right? So the more I feel this really deep interconnectedness, and first of all, I recognize my inner spaciousness, my inner luminosity. Then if we can do hands-on healing from that, it feels quite different than if I do hands-on healing. Nice rock. Right? Thank you. But could you feel that the first time? Anybody? Could you sense that? Yeah? Yeah. So when we do this, then the more we do hands-on healing from that space of openness and expandedness, etc., then also it becomes really easy to take that into your daily life. Because what we water grows. Yeah. So I also see, for example, the Reiki precepts. I like them a lot. So if someone asks me, Frans, what is Reiki? I always put it back to the Reiki precepts, because it's like leading a life without anger, worry, being grateful, being true to my way, my being, and being compassionate. Wouldn't it be great? If you really think about it. What happens if I'm angry the whole day? Have you ever been angry the whole day? Yeah, me too. Whole weeks. But you feel tired, you feel like tired. And the same with worry, right? If you're worried, but if you feel grateful for the small things, or even grateful for just waking up, because that's also not a given, right? I hope tomorrow I will wake up. If not, then you have to teach. Just put me on that rock so I can watch, right? We do it like it's Weekend at Bernie's. Do you remember Weekend at Bernie's? Oh. Sometimes my mum, bless her soul, she's so beautiful. My mum sometimes said, Frans, do these people know you're a bit crazy when you're teaching? I said, yeah, I know. I'm the same, Mum, I'm the same. And she goes like, what do they say? I said, I don't care, it's all good. Because for me also spirituality is not being serious. Of course we have to be serious when we practice, etc. And we have to also have some serious in life. But when we think about that light is playful, right? We can see it playing here on the waves. It's really beautiful. And when we feel lighter, we already say it, I'm feeling lighter in my life. I'm not carrying so much heaviness with me. And so when I was living in Darjeeling and we would go to these Tibetan monasteries, for me it was great. There was like chanting, and then some of these little kids would run around and they'll go, ha, 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 great, and they're all laughing, and then next moment, and I go, wow, this is fantastic. And even that my teacher is very strict, the last time I was there, I wake up at 4 a.m. and I go like, what do I hear? And so I go down the little stairs into the little temple area, and there he is with yellow gloves, doing the dishes at 4 a.m. in the morning, and on his computer screen he has like on a loop, we are the world, and he's singing along, we are the world, and like this. And then literally 10 minutes later he's wearing his robes and he's like, okay. But it's that beautifulness where we feel very much in that balance, you know, we're not too tight and we're also not too loose. So for me, therefore, also a spiritual practice is not separate from life. It is in life. It's also being joyful and playful, because what happens when we laugh? You feel more open, right? Yeah. And also when we laugh, what do we use? Our belly. Our belly. So we're already doing this beautiful deep breathing. Talking about breathing, and they asked me to do a little bit of practice with you all today. Oh, that's great, 5:30. So maybe, because I can talk for hours about Reiki and you all, and I think it's really boring, but because I like the precepts so much, when you actually look at the Reiki precepts, it says somewhere in the end, it says, chant this with your mouth. So sometimes people recite it. And for me, reciting is kind of saying it, and you kind of say it. I do it in Japanese, Kyo dake wa karuna, like this. But when we chant it, it's something quite different. And has anybody been to Japan? Oh, nice. It's beautiful, right? I love it. So when you go to Japan and you go to these monasteries, a lot of them are chanting. But even in yoga, they have chanting, right? And the reason is because chanting is a link between the body and the mind. The body is very tangible. It's right here, right? And why do we focus in most practices, the same within the system of Reiki, first on the body? Because the body is right here. It's not in the past. It's not in the future, right? It's right here. And then we focus on the breath, because where's the breath? Also right here. There's no past breath or future breath. But where's my mind most of the time? All over the fucking place. Oops. Right? When I first started to teach, my ex-wife said, Frans, you can't say fucking shit in the class. And I go like, well, if I can't say that, I'm not going to teach, because this is me. That's why I'm from the Netherlands, but anyway. For me, the chanting of the precepts is a great way, because when we do this chanting, is a link between the body and the mind. And the mind is so subtle, right? If I ask you to touch your knees, everybody can do it. Most of us, unless we have an injury or if I say do a deep breath, most of us can also do it. But if I say, okay, now don't worry, or don't anger, you go like, what? How do I do this? It's quite difficult. So therefore we can go in most of these spiritual practices, we go from very physical to subtle, like the breath or chanting, to more and more subtle, like the mind. And then, of course, when we have that mind embodiment, then we can very easily take it more and more into our daily life. So I will do a bit of chanting of the precepts for about 10 minutes. And I do this in Japanese, but what I like for you to see it as a healing, right? Because sound, they have these beautiful gongs here. I'm going to take one in my pocket. Or maybe two. Preferably those big ones. And they might not let me on the plane, but because of the oil problem these days, actually I was flying over from Cincinnati and there was someone with this big gong in the plane at the front and they were going like this, boing, boing, and we all had to flap our hands. It was a bit like this. I was like... It was actually United Airlines, but they transformed it to Viking Airlines because of those boats. I made it safe though, I made it safe. Okay, so I will do the chanting, and for yourself, just see yourself as open. This is the most important thing. When we feel this openness, this spaciousness, being open-minded, we already can feel it maybe in our body, we can feel it relaxing. So first check for yourself, where is this openness? So openness means no expectations, thoughts will come, thoughts will go, it's fine. Don't grab them. I love this Zen master Senrei Suzuki, and he has this great saying. He says, you leave the front door open and the back door open, and the thoughts and emotions and feelings come through the front door, and then go out of the back door, and in the middle don't serve them tea. But isn't that great? Sometimes, like, because of my mom last night, I wasn't sleeping so well. So then I go like, oh, Frans, you're giving these thoughts tea again. Take a deep breath. And for me, this really helps. Even just thinking about it. Oh, I'm watering. And what we water grows, right? Have you ever had that from one thought and we keep just spinning completely out of our control? Yeah, we do this all the time. But therefore, when we train ourselves not to grasp it or not to water this tea or give them tea, these thoughts, then they come, we notice them, we feel them, we sense them, and then we let them come and go. So we do exactly the same thing, and I will do some chanting. So take some nice deep breaths, check your body, put your feet flat on the ground. See it as a healing or an empowerment or whatever you call it, doesn't matter. Helping you to remember your inner great bright light. Yo dake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yo dake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yo dake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yo dake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yo dake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. 今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。今日だけはいいかろうな、心配そうな、感謝して今日明けめいとに親切に。Stay with it, that vibration, that spaciousness. Now I'd like you to place your hands somewhere on your body where you feel in need of some healing. But stay with that open spaciousness. And I'd like you to place your hands just below your belly button, your core, your center. Feel that inner luminosity inside your body. It's always been there and will always be there. No matter how many lampshades, no matter how dark it is, it's always there. Most of the time we just don't notice it, because we focus on the lampshades, the clouds covering this light. Yodake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yodake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Yodake wa ikaru na shinpai suna kansha shite gyo akeme ito ni sensetsu ni. Now take a few nice deep breaths into your belly and then slowly open your eyes, move your body. Good. How was that? Anybody want to share something about it? Could you feel that in your body? Oh, beautiful. Beautiful, yeah. Yeah, I think also, you know, when you have a baby, the baby, when it's born, I didn't come out of my mom and say, "Oh, hi, I'm Frans," right? So the first, actually, I see it a little bit as these labels we put on ourselves as well, like the clouds. First label was put on Frans. And then I identify as Frans, but when I go here to the coffee store and I say this morning, I said, I want one espresso, and I said, what's your name, Frans? And then it's France on a cup. Doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But some people get angry about it. No, my name is Frans with an S. And then I go like, yeah, but you got angry about 2 letters. Like, what the hell? Right? Because we identify so strongly with this name. And then, of course, my mom and dad looked and go, oh, it's a boy and a boy label on it. And then suddenly we have all these things, how we need to behave in a certain way. And suddenly we have all these layers and we forget this beautiful luminosity. And a baby does still feel this beautiful, deep interconnectedness, right? And a baby doesn't really discriminate either. It doesn't say, oh, you look like this, that's bad, or you look like that is good. That is things we teach our children. So when we look at this beautiful innate brightness, all of these elements soften, and then we start to feel more free. We can relax, and we don't take things so personally anymore. I, me, mine. So the biggest cloud really is I, me, mine, where we identify with all our issues and all our pains and discomfort. But when we look at these little babies, they're still so free and beautiful. The other day I was walking in Cincinnati and this little kid was dancing on the street. And I thought, wow, I still like dancing. I dance on the street. I don't really care. But most people, they go like, well, you can't do this. We're now adults. But imagine if we all loosen up a little bit. And we all feel a little bit more free, skip on the street. I don't know. Don't you think it would make a much better society? I think we have less anger and less worry. We all laugh a little bit more. We all feel a little bit more compassionate. That for me is already healing. So hands-on healing is great, but actually also looking at in our daily life, what do we water? Do we water our anger or worry? Because what we water, that grows. I see it sometimes, I say, if I plant a banana seed, I get bananas, I don't get apples, right? True? Yeah. So if I plant anger and worry the whole day, what do I get? Bananas. Anger and worry, bananas. When I lived in Australia, this, I don't know, it's called bananas in pajamas. Did you have that here? B1 and B2, it was cute. There was these bananas in pajamas for the kid show. It's really cute. So if we plant anger and worry, then we get angry and worried. And then that only, when we water that only starts to grow. And then that energy freezes over, right? Then it cannot flow anymore. And then what happens? Do we get sick or not? Of course. So when we can already facilitate this within ourselves, that we feel a little bit more light and warm, less frozen. Because I'm feeling this sun on my back, I'm a bit sweaty now. But this sun is warm, right? And the sun, that light, is the light and the warmth of compassion and kindness. And have you ever felt a little bit sad or painful or discomfort, right? You feel a bit tight. And then someone comes over, a friend, and they give you a bit of kindness and compassion. Most of the time we melt. Right? Because of the heat of this love and compassion, we melt and we go, I feel a bit better. And then when we melt, what happens to your energy? It starts to flow already. Much easier. So this for me is really the system of Reiki. It's not just hands-on healing, it's a practice, and a practice to lead a daily life based on the Reiki precepts. And this is why in reality the Reiki precepts are the foundation of the system of Reiki. And that the Reiki precepts are actually a description of this spaciousness. Because when we feel more spacious, do we get less angry or more? Less, right? Do we get less or more worried? Less. Do we feel more grateful or less? More, right? Are we more true to our way in our being or less? More, right? Do we feel more compassion or less? More, right? So already when we look at the Reiki precepts, it's a description of being this great bright light in all we do. Not easy, as we all know. It's easy now here in this nice, lovely center with the rock, and we feel stable. But then I go out and I start not to feel stable because I work like this. So, therefore, when we practice on a nice meditation pillow or on the mat, and we do, doesn't matter if we do asanas or we do Tai Chi or Qigong, doesn't matter. then when we rediscover this inner light more and more and more, we can taste it more and more and more, then it's easier when we get out of the door and we can take it with us in our daily life. And so for me, Reiki is in our daily life. And then what happens? Then we are ready without practicing, we're already practicing. Because if I'm kind to someone, then I'm already practicing kindness, right? And the other day, it was the first, I travel a lot. The other day was the first time I missed a plane. I was flying to Zurich and I was early enough on the airport and my plane was like 2:30 and there was a plane 2:25 to Zurich. Oh, God, that's my plane. Well, no, my plane went at 2:30, but I was not paying attention. I had other things on my mind. Mum, for example, but doesn't matter. So I was a bit distracted. So I go to this gate and I'm sitting there and this lady sitting next to me. Oh, I live in Zurich. You should go and visit this. And attention, we're going to board in 5 minutes. And then suddenly you go like, yeah, something doesn't add up. You know, you have this feeling. So I go to the counter and said, that is not your flight. Your flight is at gate D, whatever. And it was Amsterdam is a big airport. It was literally at the other end. So I'm running and I come and scoot around the corner. It was actually quite hilarious because I'm huffing and puffing and I scoot like around the corner. And I see the thing already removed from the plane. And there's two people who were standing there. Mr. Stiene. I said, yes, that's me. I said, I missed the plane. And I didn't get angry with them. I was actually laughing and I was leaning on the counter. I said, just give me a little break. And so I was making jokes with them. And then they said, okay, give us your ticket. So I gave the ticket and said, oh, no problem. There's a flight in another one in an hour. We can put you on it. And I said, and I knew I had bought a cheap ticket. I'm a cheapskate. I bought a cheap ticket, what you cannot change. But because I was just making fun and we were laughing, they said, don't worry, we'll put you in the plane for free. Don't have to pay. But if I would come there and I go like, oh, I want to get on and why did you not, whatever, then automatically I would be like this. Automatically they would be like this. Then no healing take place, neither for me, neither for other people. But if we can encounter this already, then in reality we're already practicing. What are we practicing? Being open and spacious and kind. Sometimes I think we make spiritual practice a little bit too difficult, right? You know what, tomorrow, for the people who come to the Shimpan class, or maybe none of you, I don't know, hopefully I'll be there, or I sit on this rock, like the weekend in Bern. I actually saw it the other day again. I thought I need to see this movie again, it was so brilliant. Where am I going with this? I lost the plot. So sometimes I think we make it a little bit too difficult. And in Shimpan, I often ask the first question is, how do you touch the universe? And some people go like this, some people go like this, some people go like... And some people say, I'm touching it already. In reality, we're touching the whole universe right now already. And yet, we don't believe it. And yet we think, now I need to do lots of practice and then one day I'm touching it. No, you're already touching it. The fish, I was walking around there and I saw a fish swimming. Do you think the fish has to meditate for 10 years to realize that it's swimming in water? No, right? And I was taking photos on one of those piers over there and there was this big bird flapping about. It wanted my croissant. So I took a photo, but the bird, it wasn't sitting there going, I need to meditate because I need to touch the sky, I want to fly. No, it's just realized that it's already doing it, right? From birth already, it just flaps its wings and voila. And yet, we feel so disconnected. We even say, I'm going to walk in nature. No, you are nature. Right? Because if there's no nature, then how would you be here? If you were earth, we're on the earth, we have to drink water, we have to have that inner fire for digestion, etc. We have to have air, no Frans. Then we have to be already that spaciousness, right? So we it already. We just have forgotten that we it. So for me, therefore, the system of Reiki is rediscovering what we already have since we were conceived. And a little baby comes, Mama. Any questions? For the non... Yes?
So, as you're saying, it's that we have that white light and, and having that focus and remembering that. But when there are big things that happen in our life, whether it's relationships or events that happen, that there are like these big feelings or waves of grief, like how, what is your perspective on moving through that?
Yeah.
Because we can't like stuff it down and not feel it, like, or is in the Buddhist practices, have you seen any teachings of like how to walk through that?
Yeah, I mean, it's not stuffing it down,
yeah,
right? Because when we stuff it down, one day it comes out, right? So I see it a bit like this. We don't ignore it either. We actually embrace it, but from this spaciousness. So to tell you the truth, I was speaking to my sister and brother-in-law just a few hours ago. And because of my mom and they said, Frans, I hope mom is still alive when you come back home on Tuesday. And so, of course, we cry, and then I hang up, and I felt a bit like, pfft. So I cried, and then I embrace it, and then I go, where's this spaciousness? And in that spaciousness, automatically, you don't hold it anymore like this, right? So, for example, imagine this is an issue, but normally we look at it like this, and we're like, fuck, it's such a big issue, right? Right? It's so close, so like this. But now imagine that you start to really feel more spacious within your mind and body. Now imagine we view this issue. It starts also with an I, the I, right? And we view it from that spaciousness. Does it become smaller or bigger? Smaller. And yet, did this change? No, but my perception changed. So instead of making it a really big issue, now, I look at it, I experience it, and the next moment I can let it. So it softens. And it doesn't mean that we cannot cry, doesn't mean we cannot get angry, but the next moment, where is this spaciousness? And the more we realize this inner spaciousness, the more we can accommodate. Most of the time we can only accommodate a few things. Like if this is a bowl and I put some issues in it, then most of the time very quickly we feel overwhelmed. I've seen your videos. Help! No. So then we can quickly become overwhelmed, right? But if we feel more that spaciousness, we can actually put more into it. And the more we realize, I'm so spacious, and here's a very important point, not being spaced out. Spacious. I cannot take that in my daily life. So when we feel more this spacious, automatically we can accommodate more. And we can notice it, but we don't get caught up in it. Right? So things come in, we experience it to its fullest, but we don't grasp it. We hold it in an open hand, but most of the time we grasp it, right? Then, can it change? Can something new come in? No, also not. So how do we do healing? Like this or like this? Sometimes I want to do healing like this. Frans, wake up. But we hold on to these attachments so tight. But if we can hold it with an open heart, open mind, open body, then way easier. And if I ask you to find the beginning and end of your mind, can you find it? No. So that means in reality, your essence is already spacious. We don't have to make it more open. We have to just realize that I cannot find the beginning and end of my mind. And yet we become so tight.
Where do you see the differences between Buddhist practices and Reiki practices?
Well, that's a good thing. Ultimately, I like it. I also have trained with a Taoist teacher for 12 years. Unfortunately, she passed away. She was my great Chinese, fantastic. I like Tibetan Buddhism, I like Japanese Buddhism. There's also Shugendo, which is more a shamanic practice in Japan. I like the system of Reiki. I like lots of other practices. And I think sometimes we get a bit too caught up in these words as well. And this is why I like when you look at, in Buddhism, for example, you have the word clear light. In Reiki, the great bright light. In yoga, you have the word light. In Christianity, you have the word light. Because if I have light here, I always say this, look at this light in the room, and no matter if I put super glue on this, the best super glue in the world, and I stick it on this light, does it stick? No, nothing sticks on light. So the more we realize we're actually made of light, then things stick less and less. Then also the idea of Reiki and Buddhism and yoga as being different softens as well. And then we can say, oh, I practice Buddhism or Christianity or yoga or Tai Chi, and I realize that just different practices pointing to the same essence. I have some students who have become Buddhist and now they actually train with really well-known Buddhist teachers. I have some students who are Christian or Catholic and they say, oh, Frans, through the practice, I feel a closer relationship with God. And I think this is also when we practice like a spiritual practice, we should not make it too tight, like this is how it should be. I always say, the teacher is there not to impose his ideas, but the teacher is there to help you to find your inner light, your inner ideas, your essence. Not for me to impose it on you and put you in another box. And sometimes we do this. We have our daily life and we are a bit fed up with it. Like when I started to practice, I had a lot of lower back problems since I was like 16 till I was 30. And then we feel like this, the back problem box, and then we go into the spiritual box, but we're still in a bloody box. Instead of breaking free, right? And when we break free, because that spaciousness has no end and no beginning. So when we realize this, then for convenience sake, I might still say, yeah, I'm practicing the system of Reiki, but in my heart, if you ask me, it's neither Buddhism, Reiki, it's just being kind. And there is no Buddhist kindness or Christian kindness or Reiki kindness, just being kind, right? Then we can actually be free. Because also if I say, oh, this is my Reiki, and then, oh, those Lululemon people, those yoga people, we should create a clothing line for Reiki. This is the land of opportunity, California. What can we do? So for me, that is it. So the most important thing, I think, any kind of spiritual practice is remembering your inner luminosity, your inner kindness, your inner love. And then automatically that rubs already off to other people, right? I think it's almost time. Yeah. So thank you so much for coming today. Thank you.